Hello, I'm Jerry McKee. Yes, we're here at prime time, and we got a great show for you tonight. We got Tamika Wilson here, going to give some information on the Juneteenth. We're going to talk about the history of it. We're going to talk about her background a little bit. We're going to snoop into there a little, and so I hope you stay tuned. And if you got any question whatsoever, you'll see a number come up, and you can call in and answer some questions. And so we will be back in just a couple of minutes, and I'll let you see Tamika, and she'll be able to talk to you about it. She has some great stuff here, and I've learned a lot just by even doing a little research. The Union County Community Remembrance Project is sponsoring the Juneteenth like they've had, and we're going to talk about some other things they've sponsored too. So we're going to get back here in just a second. Let me cue up something here that I should have queued up a few minutes ago. And if you hear clocks in the background, you've heard them before, hadn't you? And all right, and we'll be back right after this message. Let me stop this here.
Number one choice for sweets and dinner is Kirby.
I love Sam Cooke.
Mm-hmm. Thursday and Friday at 10 in the morning, closing at 5:30. Saturdays 9 until noon. 427-5779. Again, the number 427-5779. Baked spaghetti, salad, bread, dessert, and drink, a mere $9. Nathan's all beef hot dog plate, 2 dogs all the way, a bag of chips and drink, $7. Tacos, salads, baked spaghetti, delicious cakes, cupcakes, cake squares, freshly baked and ready to go. Kirby's Cake Shop, 1222 Duncan Bypass, Union, 427-5779.
All right, we're back, and that was Kirby's Cake Shop. You go there and eat some great lunch. It's some great food, fermented cheese and chicken salad. They make all that stuff real good to you, and they got a little catering there also. They do just excellent. You need to go down and have a little visit. And right now, we're going to switch over to Tamika. How you doing today, Tamika? I know you're tired.
I'm doing well. I'm making it. I'm happy to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, I'm going to snoop into a little bit of your background. You are a retired lieutenant colonel.
Yes, sir.
And people won't know this, but you were born in Frankfurt, Germany.
Yes, I was.
Now, how long did you stay there? I know your father was a Army.
He was an Army signal NCO, and I was born in Frankfurt, Germany, at I think it was 97 General. My mom will kill me if I get it wrong, but yeah, I know it had 9 in front of it. And let's see, we were there until I went to kindergarten and part of first grade before we left there. So I remember taking some German, so willkommen.
Can you speak German?
Was ist das? Just a little bit.
Just a little bit? Well, that's great. And you also, let's see, in 1997, you went to Clemson University.
Yes, I am a diehard Tiger. So all the Carolina folks are hanging up right now. But don't hang up. Stay on.
Well, I started wearing my Carolina shirt. I really did, but because I graduated from the University of South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And now you was in the ROTC program, though, right?
I was. I had a 3-year scholarship in the Army ROTC program. And after I finished ROTC, I got my commission. I went in as an engineer officer. And my first duty station after finishing basic at Fort Leonard Wood was Fort Polk, Louisiana. So beautiful Fort Polk, Louisiana.
Now it says, now were you in Fort Jackson any?
I did go to Fort Jackson. I was a recruiting company commander, and the training school is actually in Fort Jackson. So I did a little stint there. You have to get certified to be a recruiting commander and also to be a recruiter, an Army recruiter. So they send you to school just for those things. The Army likes to send you to school for everything. So. Yep.
Exactly. You go to school for everything, but seem like you accomplished everything in those schools also, because you had Army Major commands from FORSCOM.
Yes.
And to TRODAC.
TRADOC, that's the Training and Doctrine Command, and people wondering what that is. That basically means that I was in charge of a unit that after you finish recruiting, you go to basic. So we did basic and AIT, and I helped train combat engineers and bridge crew members at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Oh. Well, I see that you well qualified for what you're doing right now with all these events going on. I can see how that you're very organized. And also you had 4 deployments to support operations during Freedom and Operation Iraq.
Yes. OIF and OEF. I did a stint in Afghanistan. I was stationed at Kandahar at the base there. So a lot of deployments. I had the privilege of going to Jordan as well. So for those that have never been to Jordan, you maybe heard of Petra. So I got to go to Petra twice in my lifetime. Most people don't ever get to go, and I got to go twice. So there are some benefits to joining the military as far as travel and the things you get to see. And I got to scuba dive in the I think it was the Red Sea.
Wow.
While I was down there. Yeah. So I also floated in the Dead Sea. When I was yeah, I know, right? You're like, what were you doing? So there's a lot of stuff you get to do in the military that you probably don't even think about.
And meet all kind of people around the world, and scuba. Now, I used to be certified in scuba diving,
Oh,
and
wow.
I used to fly some of these, go into some of these lakes up in Arkansas, and around so you can see your feet, and so it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And the first time I went down, you kind of, first time you ever do it, just to kind of breathe heavy.
Yes,
I
it
could
was.
breathe underwater.
It was a little challenging for me, but once I got down there, and it was amazing moment. So
Now, was your mom and dad, were they raised and born in Union?
So my roots are in South Carolina. So my mother is Peggy Jean Pete Kelly Wilson. And she was born in Carlisle. And we were just talking about it, that she was born with a midwife and a doula.
Wow.
at the house. And we were just talking about that today. And my dad was born in Santuc. And we actually live maybe not even a quarter mile from where he grew up. And that's where we live at now in Santuc.
Well, that's great. I know Ed and I, the Carlisle ladies had a cookbook, and we took us over a year or so to write all them recipes out and to get it together and print it. And we still have a copy now, but it's out of the church out of Carlisle that they all got together some old recipes and stuff, and we tried some, and it's great too.
Yeah.
Now, when you went away to service, okay, most people sometimes when they go away like that, they go to another city, another town. When you decide to come back to Union, what are some of your thoughts that you were wanting to seek opportunities here in Union?
I guess when I thought about Union County, I was thinking about my father. He's retired Army, Sergeant First Class Leon Wilson. And my aunt also served. We're a big military family. My aunt, Betty Wilson, she was a Master Sergeant in the Army. She since passed, but she moved back home too. So a lot of people moved back to South Carolina. And when I was thinking about coming back, I wanted to, how can I give back? How can I, recreate some of those great memories that I had in South Carolina growing up? Because I think I stayed under my grandmother, Eva Mae Kelly, the whole time when I was home. And growing up around my cousins, I mean, we would climb trees and ride bikes, and I did all of that stuff, and I just remember all the memories. Walker's pasture in Carlisle, we weren't supposed to be down there, but we were riding horses and or trying to, and I mean muscadimes, getting muscadimes out of the trees, and I mean it's just being a kid, and the whole time I was there, I could traverse all over Carlisle, and everybody knew who I was, so I couldn't get in trouble because a cousin, a
Somebody
aunt,
gonna tell on you.
somebody's gonna tell on you. Somebody's gonna say something. So I just had a fantastic childhood growing up there, and I learned so much from family members. And my mom is, she's one of 8 kids, so I had my aunts and my uncles, and then my dad. They were both raised by their grandparents, so I had the privilege and honor of being around both of my great grandparents. So
Wow,
very, very lucky.
Usually, great grandparents has already been passed on. Time
Yeah.
we come in.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
lived in a small town. Edna lived in a small town in Lockhart, and we bring back some of those memories from years ago. That I mean, it's just simple times and enjoyable times. You had fun
Yeah.
and bringing back things that you remember. It's just wonderful, and things trigger it, doesn't it?
It does. The smell of biscuits. My grandmother used to make me an entire pan of biscuits just for me, and I could eat them dry. Like I didn't need jelly. I didn't need anything. Just the biscuits, and I don't know why, but I could eat them all. And she used to make the best peach cobbler. Oh, my God.
My favorite.
She had this big old wooden stove in the kitchen, and it was big flat, So of course, when she finished cooking, all of the food would go on the wooden stove, for people to get served from, and she would feed everybody.
My grandma had a wood stove like that, and Edna cooks great. I do a little cooking show for her. She shows people how to make some of the simple things that she calls simple, that most people don't know how to make. Biscuits, for one thing.
Yeah.
That was her biggest hit, was
Yeah.
the biscuits, and they're real good. So the community life, and that brings you back, and that's what you want to help in Union County, and that's why I do a lot of things here, because I love it here. It's a great county.
Yeah.
All counties got its little quirks and things like that, but you try to bring out the best of it.
Yeah, and I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, there's nothing to do. There's nothing," So I want to help, contribute to bringing some things back for young people to do. Because when I was here, we had a skating rink. We had, when my parents were younger, they had 2 movie theaters. I think I
Right.
had a bunch of movie theaters. So we know that a lot of young people have gone on to bigger cities, perhaps. But I like to see that the trend now is folks are coming back. They're relooking, Union County as an option. And I think it's so important for us to be positive talking about Union County, because once you go negative, then everybody hears the negative. So how can we be positive? How can we talk about, hey, this is going on? I had a great experience at Tractor Supply Company the other day purchasing a ladder, and I'm just so grateful. That kind of customer service is what keeps people coming and staying here. So shout out to Tractor Supply Company and Sheldon that was working there that day. Got a ladder. My dad picked it up later on. And, I just wish and hope and pray that a lot of people, give Union County a second look, because things are happening.
Exactly. Ace Hardware does the same thing. Customer service there is fantastic.
Yes,
Phenomenal.
fantastic.
Our son moved to Greenville. He was there teaching down there for years and years and years like that. Well, he kept telling us, "Won't y'all just come on and come to Greenville, move down there?" I said, "No, we like it here." Well, it's really nothing else right here. Guess who moved back? He did.
Exactly.
And he's teaching at the high school.
Yeah.
And
the traffic is something that I don't think people realize when you live I've lived in Atlanta, and, it would take me an hour to get to certain things. I said, well, I might as well go to Union County, because it's going to take me an hour to get to where I want to go, right? So at least then I could drive right up to the door. I don't have to get into a garage and then get out and all that good stuff. So I think the trade-off is slower pace, a little bit more family-oriented maybe. You can always go to the city, but it's hard to replicate having, we live on 3 acres. It's hard to replicate that
Right.
in the city.
And you got big stores within 35 minutes away, and that's not really that far. To me, I love just a short distance. I need something, I just go run and do it and get it. And I like the home stores because they're, to me, more personal and helpful for you. It just totally different. I just love the community stores that you go into and find some unique things.
Yeah, and things are coming. Things are coming, I think, and I think people have to consider, it costs money to open a big business here.
It does.
Anywhere you go. I was telling someone, we were having a discussion about how much does it cost to open up a fast food restaurant. It could be $1 million buy-in, and most people don't have that kind of money. So, what does it take to open up a business? So really support, your entrepreneurs, your small business that's around here, the pop-up shops when they have them. We have a lot of young people who are selling really good quality goods here. And, Juneteenth will be one of the places you'll be able to see some of those folks.
And that's one thing that you implement is to get folks into a business that wants to go and has that desire, and they don't know how to do it, and you help them there. And we're going to talk more about some of these things in just a moment. We're going to go back to our sponsor and Kirby's.
Union's #1 choice for sweets and dinner is Kirby's Cake Shop, 1222 Duncan Bypass, Union. Open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 in the morning, closing at 5:30. Saturdays 9 until noon. 427-5779. Again, the number 427-5779. Baked spaghetti, salad, bread, dessert, and drink, a mere $9. Nathan's all-beef hot dog plate, 2 dogs all the way, a bag of chips and drink, $7. Taco salads, baked spaghetti, delicious cakes, cupcakes, cake squares, freshly baked and ready to go. Kirby's Cake Shop, 1222 Duncan Bypass, Union, 427-5779.
All right, we're back again, and you probably might have heard me talk about how young she is. She is that. And we just changed a little bit on my caption here a little. Now, Tamika, you're going to have to probably help me with all these acronyms. I mean, you retired, and you do more stuff. You probably work harder now than you did when you was before you retired. You're a United Way Piedmont?
Yes, United Way of the Piedmont board member. So I got on the board, was that last year? The time is going by fast. And so I was part of the Vision Council here, United Way Piedmont Vision Council, Union Vision Council, and a lot of the focus is economic mobility and helping folks to improve their life, basically.
Yeah.
So.
And L.W. Long Community Resource Center, you're a board member there.
I am. Mm-hmm.
Spartanburg Community College, Union Campus Advisory on the Advisory Committee, and the Union County Development.
Union County Democratic Party Chair.
Party. That's right. I don't say development.
UCP chair.
I just wanted to say development in there. And UCC RP, which is the Union County Community Remembrance Project. You're the co-leader. And you have a sorority that you're involved with.
That's right.
How many years?
So we celebrated as an organization 100 years, November 12th, 1922. We were founded at Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana. So we celebrated 100 years last year, and we had our centennial, and we're continuing to celebrate. And our slogan is greater service, greater progress. So shout out to my sorors for our Eta Sigma Sigma Greenville Alumni Chapter in Greenville, and the undergraduate chapters that we are responsible for, which is Mu Psi Chapter at Clemson University and Nu Chi Chapter at Lander University.
Well, see, my brother-in-law is going to really love you because he loves Clemson. We go on to one another a lot. Now, you have done a lot in getting people out voting.
Yes. Yes. Not just me. We have a team of people.
Team,
Yes.
right? But in organizing this team, and you bring out a lot of people to vote, and you can tell in the polls that you've really worked hard, because a lot of people are intimidated about voting, whether they think maybe they don't have. What about the machine? I might not,
Right.
and I don't want to feel stupid when they go in there, and things like that. And your team educates them.
Yes. Yes. We coined the term rep. You want to rep your city, if you will. So we want to register individuals to vote. We want to get them educated, and we want everybody to participate. So if you have a question, and we pride ourselves on, we will register everybody. We don't care how you vote. We want you to vote, because we think that the problem is in our country right now, in our state, in our cities, in our municipalities, is just not enough people voting. When you have over 16,000 registered voters in a county, and maybe a little over half of them actually vote, that's a whole lot of people that aren't being represented, out of a county of 29,000 people. So, it's so important. And I guess I stress that so many people die for the right to vote. So many people sacrifice for the right to vote. And it wasn't equal across the board, as we know. So you had to have amendments in Civil Rights Act so that everybody had the right to vote. And it continues to be a struggle. So I just saw the U.S. Supreme Court just voted that Alabama has to go back and redo their maps so
Right.
that everyone is represented. They saw that they violated the Civil Rights Act, Section 2. So they were gerrymandering. And we know both sides do gerrymandering. We get that. But
Right.
when you do it so egregiously that the U.S. Supreme Court says, no, you got to go back.
Sticks out like a sore thumb, doesn't it?
Sticks out like a sore thumb. So my thing is, equal representation, making sure everybody has the ability to vote, understands what they're voting for. We don't tell people who to vote for. We tell people, everybody that's on the ballot, pick the best person that you want representing you.
Exactly. And just threw a number up there, 864-441-9382, if you want to call and ask Tamika a question. If you have something you want to ask, you can do that. Now, what is one of the questions that most people ask you when you ask them, have you voted? What are some of the excuses, or not excuses, but what's something they're afraid of about voting?
I think some of the concern is, my vote won't count. I'm not sure which precinct to vote in. I'm not sure who to vote for. I don't know who's on the ballot. I don't know when to vote. So, I think it's really incumbent upon, individual responsibility and group responsibility, whether it's getting information from your churches, whether it's getting information from your colleges, however you choose to get that information. Be informed, ask questions. There is no stupid question. The only stupid question is the unasked question. If you don't ask the question, you're never going to know. So we had people that, weren't sure where to vote. So we let them know, hey, these are all the polling locations, when to vote. These are the time frames. We have a Facebook page, we have a private page and a public page. And social media at times right now, it's really kind of tough because you have trolls, you have people that want to get in there and say negative stuff. And we're like, okay, we want to stay positive, stay focused. Everybody has their individual concerns and issues. But the fundamental right to vote, I think everybody can agree on,
Yes.
is let's vote, participate in the process, and do what you need to make sure you're represented.
And last voting, I noticed, and I was looking myself even, and I was thinking, well, what precinct am I in? Who is running in that precinct? So I put together the map and who was running in each precinct. This is a map where if you live in this area, this is the person this for, and I put that out there for where people can share, to look at, to where they'll know exactly. Because even myself, I'm thinking, wait a minute, who is my district? Where does it cover?
Right.
And they have this information, but it's hard to find.
It's a little hard to find. I encourage people to go to the voter registration office and ask the question. They can also go to Gear Up, the county website. You can see what the city and the county offices that are going to be running. The voter registration office is right across the street from Lewis Funeral Home.
Yes.
And you go through those glass doors, you talk to Darlene Petty and say, hey, help me out. Explain everything to me. You know what I mean? That's what they're there for. They're there to assist and help you. A lot of people don't even think about going when it's not a voting period. That's the time to learn. Go
Right.
in between when it's time to vote so that you can see what the machine looks like, see what it is to put your information in there. You have to have your ID card, right? Driver's license, some official ID card to, make sure that they check the rolls. You're going to sign in and then you vote, and there's going to be a paper ballot that comes out after you vote. One thing we encourage folks is do not vote straight ticket. I don't care who you represent or voting straight ticket. What that does is there might be 2 people that you actually want to be in office, but now you just voted for a bunch of people that you don't even want to be in office.
Or you don't know anything about.
Or you don't know anything
Yeah,
about.
I never do the straight ticket because I like doing who I think is going to do the best job.
Exactly.
That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
And I know that you have meetings and have encouraged for people to come
Yes.
to sit in these meetings, and if they have any questions, they can ask you there or someone that they really know and feel comfortable asking.
Absolutely. Democratic Party, we meet the 4th Monday at City Hall at 6 o'clock. So everyone is welcome. It's a public meeting. You can come and ask questions. You can debate, after our formal meeting if you want to,
Right.
And everyone is welcome. Everyone's welcome to come out.
And I like the county council. I live streamed that live, and to me that is showing just open transparency of that meeting. That anyone, if they can't make it there, they can always go back and look and be educated with that.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing is being educated for what things are.
Yeah.
If you don't know, ask, like you said, and it's just like. Memorial Day we just had. Some people put on there. Thing here popped up. I'll get it in a minute. We'll say Happy Memorial Day, and it's not a Happy Memorial Day.
Yes.
It's different. Juneteenth is a celebration. It's not a sad thing. It is a celebration, and we will get into this in just once. Well, we can start again right then.
Sure.
We've got a couple more minutes to get into it. A lot of people don't know, and until I did some research and read, and you got to that, and you got some wonderful guests that is going to be at Juneteenth. It's
Yes.
really going to be very helpful in educating. Before we get right into Juneteenth, what I loved is that the history that you brought with the jail. And you have a plaque there.
Yes.
And people don't understand. I didn't know about it, and,
Right.
and of course I hadn't lived here all my life. But a lot of people didn't know anything about the lynching.
Yeah.
But I did. Miss Hunter had me to do a video for one of the gentlemen that his dad was a sheriff back in 1947, I think it is, somewhere in there, and the sheriff had to live in the jail. His whole family had to live in the jail.
Wow.
And I just thought that just blew me away.
Yeah.
And he talked about what they looked, what the scene, and stuff like that. And I was thinking, with the lynching, was it mandatory? Was that sheriff with his family living there when this happened?
Yeah.
And I don't know. You probably know the date that this happened.
Yeah. The lynchings, 1871.
Okay. So and that same jail was there as it is today.
Same jail.
And there's getting ready to be some renovations going on that to where we can tour it.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
And that's what I was doing some of the videos for her and certain people that actually lived in that era or to give some insight. But I just thought that was so interesting that we brought up things that that happened in our county that we just didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
history.
I think it's it's not talked about, and we know it happened, and we know that there were individuals that were lynched in Union County, and our original and our continued mission in the UCCRP is to highlight and remember. That's why we call it the UCCRP Remembrance and Celebration, because we think that it's so important. Our theme this year is truth, memory, and reconciliation.
Yes.
So the truth is, hey, what happened? What occurred? We want to say their names. We don't want anyone to forget what happened because we don't want it to be repeated. We don't want anything like that to happen again. So, we seek to document and recognize the history of lynching and racial terrorism in Union County. In our vision, we seek to foster ongoing collaborative education, justice, and healing. And we've added through preservation. And that preservation includes, supporting the preservation of the Union Community Hospital, which is the Elder Belong Community Resource Center, which is where we're going to have the Juneteenth in the parking lot in front of the courthouse, in front of the jail. There's a lot of history there. The Union Community Funeral Home is right there. It's been there for over 100 years,
Wow.
so serving the community. So it's a lot of history, a lot of Black history, which is all of our history to talk about and celebrate here in Union County. And we want to continue to do that year after year.
And when we come back after this commercial right here, we're going to talk about what is Juneteenth, what happened then. But people don't realize, and that's one of your guests, I was reading some of the bios there, is going to be like, people don't understand that a lot of times no birth certificate was there. It's just maybe written something in the Bible, or these things is lost, and it's giving people a chance to find out the roots of what they belong to and things. And to me, that is very important.
Right.
You can go to Ancestry.com and you're not going to find some of these things.
Right.
And so I that one guest, I'm very excited about her. But we'll be right back right after this.
Union's #1 choice for sweets and dinner is Kirby's Cake Shop, 1222 Duncan Bypass, Union. Open Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 10 in the morning, closing at 5:30. Saturdays 9 until noon. 427-5779. Again, the number 427-5779. Baked spaghetti, salad, bread, dessert, and drink, a mere $9. Nathan's all-beef hot dog plate, 2 dogs all the way, a bag of chips and drink, $7. Taco salads, baked spaghetti, delicious cakes, cupcakes, cake squares, freshly baked and ready to go. Kirby's Cake Shop, 1222 Duncan Bypass, Union, 427-5779.
All right, we're back, and now we're going to get into some stuff that's going to go on this Saturday that you need to come there. They changed the time just a little bit, but just to cool you down. And it's going to be a great time when you come there. And we're going to find out all the things they're going to have, some exciting guest speakers that they're going to have. You need to go there to find out what's going on. You listen in the background, little Sam Cooke, change has got to go on. And that's what's going to happen in Union County. And Tamika Wilson is making that happen. So, Tamika, here we go. Let me get the music back down. All right. A lot of people don't know what happened. What is Juneteenth?
So, surprisingly enough, I did not know about Juneteenth. It wasn't something that we were taught or educated about when I was coming up in school. So, I learned a lot about Juneteenth going through this process, probably since 2018-19 time frame. When I became part of the Union County Community Remembrance Project and the coalition, we got together because we wanted to see how could we kind of bring everyone together to hear about the history and the lynching victims, but also end on a note of resilience and celebration, right? So how do we bring it kind of full circle? And when we started talking about Juneteenth, we thought, well, this would be a good way to do it. Of course, COVID happened, and we didn't think we were going to be able to even do it. And as we were researching Juneteenth and learning more about it, we discovered that Galveston, Texas has been celebrating Juneteenth for at least 157 years. So that's where it originated from, because Union troops led by Major General Gordon Granger, basically in 1865, June 19th, they had to go to Texas because they hadn't gotten the word about the Emancipation Proclamation in Texas. So you're talking about 2 years later, right, from 1863, where, at least 20,000 enslaved Black people had no idea that they were free at this point. So that became the celebration, that proclamation, that notification to these individuals that you are in fact free. And as a result, that celebration has spread out, across the United States. And we were privileged and lucky enough to have kind of planned through the pandemic. We weren't even sure we were going to be able to have something on June 19th, 2021. And it just so happened, I didn't talk to President Biden or anybody else. They didn't tell us they were going to make it a federal holiday. We were able to have our event on Juneteenth. And, we have a website. We have video of that day where we did the soil collection ceremony. We had at least 400 people that came from out of town, in town. And although we had a couple little pop-up storms, as you're wont to have in South Carolina.
Oh, yes.
The wind almost got it, but we had so many great organizations that came out, and we did it based off of the Field Villages, the acronym, which we borrowed from the mission of the Elder Belong Community Resource Center, which is we invite agencies and entities to help celebrate, because we also want to have a spirit of service as well. So what can we give back to the community? So,
well, I know when you had your first Juneteenth here, it's like it was a wake-up call, because actually no one didn't know anything about Juneteenth. When the president made this a national holiday, they're thinking, okay, what is that?
What is it?
And didn't really know the significance of it. And even when the slaves in Texas in 1865 were freed, they also made it say, okay, we don't want you to walk away because they're afraid that the crops and all this right here would fail, because that's who worked the farms and things, and said, but you will get paid to do it.
So there was some sort of remuneration, for the service that you originally were working for free.
Exactly.
Chattel slavery. So, it's kind of mind-boggling that for 2 years folks were still, working under that, enslavement model, right? And it took, Union troops to go there to Texas, which was a Confederate state at the time,
right,
to say, hey, you are now free, and actually solicit and facilitate, the assistance of the enslaved folks that were there.
Right. So. And F.W. Emory, which is a major and assistant adjutant to general, he was he's the one that wrote this out. It's called the General Orders Number 3, and telling them that, okay, stay in the present home. You're going to get work for wages, and that was only fair to do that, because who was reaping the benefit was the shareholder. I mean, the farmers that had the slave stuff. They would give them a little bit to eat, whatever like that, but.
It was a terrible model.
It was,
for sure. Right?
It was. And now, did the Juneteenth order, when they gave that order out, what I read a little bit on is that they didn't know. Some of the slaves didn't really know what to do, what this order was, because again, they weren't allowed to go to school, they weren't allowed to be educated, and they really had to be
right.
had to be educated what this order was. It's like, I'm free. We don't know what that's like, and I just can imagine the celebration there.
Something as I did my research, after you get into post slavery and Reconstruction, and essentially before slavery ended, you didn't have trespassing laws. I don't know if you were aware of that.
No, I didn't know that.
So you didn't have trespassing laws, because that was something that was, King George and England. That's how they controlled, land in England at the time. So trespassing laws had to be enacted, or they were enacted, to prevent enslaved people from occupying land, because they knew how to grow on the land, they know how to live on the land. So guess what? Guess who's going to move next door to you? The enslaved family, right? So trespassing laws were put in place to prevent that, to criminalize individuals from just kind of popping up and setting up shop, right? So, that kind of leads us into the whole kind of the Reconstruction era, and, where Black people were becoming empowered, and we talk a little bit about that. We talk about how in South Carolina you had legislatures, Black men specifically, were being elected to the House to represent, and of course there were people that did not like that, specifically white people in power that did not like that, did not want to see that happen. And so you had the influx of lynching all across the South. And we want to say it was over 4,000 individuals that were lynched that we know about, and probably more than that.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's not captured, it's not written. And I would ask people is that when you see those images and you see those pictures, and we have people that are in our coalition who remember specifically in Union County what they used to call the hanging tree.
Right.
And so if you're thinking about that and you're a child and you're going to this event to see someone lynched, to see a Black person lynched, those people are still alive. So we always kind of focus on the person that was lynched, but all the people that are in the picture, where are they now? What are they doing? Right?
And are there images going back and seeing that over again?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see nothing
Everybody
like that.
is influenced by that trauma, because a lot of people, we talked about trauma as part of the UCCRP. There's no such thing as being removed from that type of, visual or trauma and what that does to a person, especially as children, seeing that, and that was accepted practice. And we know that, in order to kind of control a population, you make sure they can't read, make sure they can't write, make sure they, and a lot of places use the Bible to reinforce. I learned recently that the Bible was, edited to make sure that individuals didn't see certain passages.
Right.
So, when you impose something that's so, fundamentally against human nature, right? It's just, it's really horrific. It's sad.
And some of that, you're talking about the controlling part, goes on today in certain marriages and certain relationships where either, I'm going to just use the husband, has a wife, I don't want you to work, I give you so much money to do this, and it's almost like a controlled, and that's kind of like that in a way, because she can't do it. She can't have certain friends because I don't want you to have certain friends. If you do this, we'll go cut you out here. No, you can't go here. You can't do that. And I've seen it so many times and counseled so many that went through this.
Because knowledge is power, right?
Exactly.
Knowledge is power. That information is power. And you see so much of information not being shared today or being suppressed. And it's so interesting to me because we're the country, land of the free, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of the press. These are ingrained in our foundational documents. So if we really believe that, we should be enforcing that.
Exactly. What is the importance of recognizing Juneteenth to you?
I think the importance is that, it's really rooted in a never forget, mindset, that the truth is so important. The memory and discussing it and having the conversation, just like we're having the conversation.
Right.
It leads to reconciliation, and it's going to take time. So I think Juneteenth becomes another vehicle, right? We need multiple vehicles for us to be able to get in the car together, have that conversation, or sit at the table together and eat. Everybody has to eat, right?
All right.
And
that's when you have your best conversations.
You have some of the best conversations over food, right? Good food, good Southern food, right? So if you can do that, Juneteenth allows us to bring in, food, health, housing, education, employment, economic development, and life skills, and all of these entities that we've invited to participate, from Three Pete's Barbecue, Gist Grill Barbecue, Nothing But the Best, J-Rock, he's got J&J Golf Cart Service is going to be there, United Way of the Piedmont, Regenesis Healthcare. We have a laundry list of individuals that are going to be helping us to celebrate, and our guest speakers are top notch. And I'd be remiss if I did not thank South Carolina Humanities. They provided a mini grant to help bring our guest speakers to the fore, like Philip J. Merrill, because he's the founder and CEO of Nanny Jack and Company, LLC, which is an African-American heritage consulting firm. And he uses his extensive archive of rare artifacts to tell authentic stories of the African-American experience. He's been on PBS Antiques Roadshow, for those people that used to watch that or still watch that.
Now, Tyree, if you see the picture of him here, he's dressing like the part, isn't he?
Tyree Rowell is a young man that does living history, and he was with us last year, so people probably got to meet him, and he basically recreates. He'll show you how to make bricks, how they used to make bricks in the 1800s, right? And some cases it was without straw, right? Some cases it was
really like in the Bible, the Israelites.
Yes.
During the Egyptian days.
Yeah, absolutely. He can show you in real time, what that kind of stuff looks like. And then, of course, we have Robin Foster. She is the founder and owner of Genealogy Just Ask, and she's hometown.
Yeah, that's what I was excited about because her work's cut out for her, and some of this right here is just and a lot of it's
I'm excited to show her the book that we have from the hospital, courtesy of Mr. Keenan, who had essentially all the information about people that were born at the hospital. So their names are listed. With dates, right? So I'm sure she's going to be like, oh, this is gold. So matching her with people to talk about genealogy, she's going to give tips and tricks, and then make sure you have the QR code to purchase her book. She's a renowned author. And
now, do you have certain times that each one of these will be speaking?
Yes. So they're going to be there the whole time, but we want to focus on Philip Merrill is going to do his presentation at the Union Community Funeral Home at 5:30 p.m. And then we're going to have Robin Foster, who will do kind of multiple presentations, and she'll be inside the Elder Belong Community Resource Center. So the good news is there's going to be AC for folks to sit inside, but we're going to also have the tents outside. And then Tyree will be outside at a table and tent doing presentations. So there'll be multiple opportunities to talk to these individuals one-on-one and also get the group presentation. So we're asking everybody to be on time at 4 o'clock as we do the program. The initial program, which is hey, why are we doing Juneteenth? We have our UCCRP members. We want to thank Nate Johnson, Stephanie Cohen, Curtis Ann Hunter, Mayor Thompson's going to be there to welcome. I'll be speaking myself. We'll have Dr. Tekla Johnson, who's going to talk about the meaning of our theme that day. And what's so important. And I'd be remiss if I didn't highlight Marcus Foster Jr., who's also he's our cultural resource coordinator and artist. So he is working on a mural that everybody will get to contribute to. So,
wow.
Yes.
I read about that. Like each section, someone will be able to paint in there like that.
Yes,
that'd be great.
I'm excited to do that.
Now, all of this is going to take place right downtown at the courthouse, correct?
Yes.
Within that block right there, or is it just right there in that intersection?
So right in the block in between South Enterprise and Herndon Street in front of the courthouse, so all the way down, you'll be able to go to Sankofa's if you'd like to. Go in there. They're one of our merchants. Main Street merchants that are open, you'll be able to go down Main Street, but the road is going to be blocked off by the courthouse. We're going to have our food vendors on the blacktop. We're going to have an open car show, which is hosted by Elder Belong Community Resource Center, and that's to fundraise to take care of the building, the old Union Community Hospital. And it's $25 entry fee. You can contact Truck Jeter at 864-466-5241. And we are still taking folks that want to register and be part of our event until the 15th of June, so you still have time. It's $33.85 total on Eventbrite because you got to pay the little fee. And we're asking people to register online. If you call me, 864-266-7777. Excuse me. If you text me. Text me, and then I will send you the link and give you some instructions, and then we'll make sure you're squared away for your spot that day. We also have, I gotta tell you, we have a documentarian that's coming.
Margaret Baker.
Yes. And she is a doctoral candidate at North Carolina State University, and her request is to get as many folks from Union County. We're going to do some on-site interviews, probably 8 on-site, but you'll be able to sign up there as well. So if she doesn't get you that day, she'll be able to sign you up for future interviews. And she's hoping to collect information from all who have interesting stories about memorable experiences regarding race, plantation sites, the civil rights movement, and anything else related to the history of the county. So it's really a great opportunity to share the rich history and make sure it's alive for future generations. So we talked about information and education.
Exactly.
Great way.
I was excited when I read that. I said, "Wow, she can do a documentary on your stories."
Yes.
It's not like someone's fabricating it. You're telling your stories.
You're telling your story. Our entertainment is going to include DJ Troop, Freddie Vanderford. I know you have a connection to Freddie Vanderford.
Yes, I got a little connection there. Freddie's going to be on the show next Monday and talk about Peg Leg and also some of his music and how he got into it and pick his brain a little bit.
Yeah, and this will be the 3rd year he's coming out and supporting us, so we appreciate him. And then we're going to have a spiritual dance team, which is new. We were introduced to them, their SPT dance team, by Tyree K. Rowell. So excited.
And now, let me ask you this. Now, we want people to know this is just not a black celebration. This is everyone's celebration. This is everyone to come and celebrate because it's a big leap. We still got a long ways to go, but still it's a big leap. And educate. You will learn so much.
Yeah.
Tyree, I want to see how he makes them bricks.
Yes.
And these speakers here, Robin, taking her time in the geology, and Philip. It's just it goes on and on. Now let me ask you this: somebody says, "Well, I got some children. They're going to come. What's going to go on with them?" Oh,
God, I'm glad you mentioned that. So we have a pretty good games area, and we want to thank Pass the Torch and the UUCAA, Antonio Johnson, and Lakeisha's Inflatables and more. They're going to have the bouncy houses out there for the kids. Great. We are also going to have what I'm calling a water balloon rally, basically, and it's reusable water balloons. So the kids will be able to basically get wet, so bring towels, change of clothes, all the good stuff for the kids, and they'll be able to have fun because it's going to be warm. And we're going to have the large Jenga games. We're going to have cornhole. We're going to have other little games. Love Thy Neighbor is going to bring out something they've had at the library, so we want to thank them. And they're going to have the disc golf toss for the kids. So it's going to be plenty to do if you're looking for work. South Carolina State Parks is hiring. Kingdom Dispatch and Logistics LLC is hiring. They're looking for folks that want to be truck drivers, that want to get into dispatching, want to start their own business. Special shout out to Kim's Closet. She always supports our organization. So we consider all of our retail vendors, our economic development. So that's supporting the small business, right?
Right,
so,
it is.
Kim's Closet, Friends on Main Bookstore will be open. So Irene Wilson will be there. TNT Creative Designs, Ice and Security Services LLC. They provide security services. So maybe you might be interested in working for them, get information about them. Or you may want to hire their services, So Be Native is a new vendor. We're also going to have Double Trouble Crafty Creations and Crafty Me and a few more that I don't have listed right now because they're still registering. Thanking NAACP. They're going to be in the Life Skills Village, United Way of the Piedmont. I'm really excited about LaKenya Young. She's the Union County Community Resource Coordinator, and she is going to be hosting a future first-time home buyer info session at the library June 28th at 1 p.m. So please.
That is great because I was talking about some other guests being on the show, and I want someone to will come on and talk about the first time you're buying a house, first time you're selling a house, things you got to do and line up. Hopefully,
Maybe you could go and record them. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I'll link you too. Okay.
And
All right.
just like even with an attorney that's telling you, okay, wills, what things that you're going to have and stuff like
Yes.
that people really don't know.
Yeah.
So that's what I've kind of
Yeah, South Carolina Legal Services is a really good resource for that too.
Great.
Yeah, yes, I would talk to them. Union County Democratic Party, we're going to be there registering people to vote. We know there's an upcoming special election tomorrow for District
It is.
2,
Yes.
County Council District 2. So please go out and vote 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And there are going to be 7 districts, I believe is the right number. 7 precincts, excuse me, that'll be open. So make sure you're going to the right
one
precinct.
district.
One district,
Right.
but multiple precincts that will be open.
You know what district
Tuesday.
that is off the top of your head?
It's District 2.
Okay. And that reaches.
So it goes up towards Jonesville, Cross Keys, Carlisle, Santuck, West Springs.
Right. They
I think Black Rock. Yep, I think Black Rock is in there. Yeah,
Mr. Tucker's one they replaced in there that passed away.
Correct.
And so it's
correct.
so you know, get out and vote in there.
Get out and vote. I mean, you heard it here, right? I know you're
Exactly.
tuned in and listening. You heard it here. And Rose Rice, who's part of Democratic Party, and she's the president of the Happy Travelers, they're going to be doing giveaways. So their group is going to be out there representing. So register
good.
for raffles, nice baskets made by Double Trouble Crafty Creations. We've invited Sisters on the Move out as well. And I feel like I'm forgetting people, but just thanking Union Public Safety, the county, everybody that's on the flyer represented, South Carolina Humanities, you yourself, and you said you were going to graciously donate
Yes.
2 certificates, so we
Yes.
appreciate that. So, I mean, this is just a good event to come out to.
It sounds like a great fun event, and if you're looking for different things, unusual things to purchase, you're going to have it right there.
You're going to have it right there.
Some made
and
from
don't forget
hands.
about the Farm and Craft Market will be open that morning at 106 Lakeside from 8 to 12. So say you don't get to come out to Juneteenth, but you want to get you some good, vegetables and stuff like that, go out there because we consider that an extension of Juneteenth.
Right.
As well. And there are other events that are going on. Shout out to my church, Judah Chapel, and me. They're having the Pastor Davis and his wife, Sister Davis, are having a Juneteenth lunch for the congregation. So,
Wow, that's great.
yeah, so my parents are going to do that first from 11 to 1. I think I'm going to be up still coordinating the event and prepping. So I'm going to miss that, but shout out to them.
Someone's got to bring you a pan of biscuits.
Yes. I said, get my plate, please.
Just like your grandmother made.
That's right.
Now, does your mom make those pipes?
No, you know what? She said when she had an opportunity to kind of sit at the table and learn stuff like that, she didn't really want to, so she didn't. She does say she regrets that. I said, Ma, I regret it too. I should have been paying attention when she was throwing stuff in the pan. So yeah.
Well, yeah, we don't think about things like that then, and that's why with Edna doing her cooking show, showing just some of the simple things, how to make meatloaf, how to make mashed potatoes, the biscuits, and things like that. I said, you got young kids coming up now that don't know how to cook, so they can go back and just watch you do it. That's besides that, your grandkids, your kids, they're going to, when we leave this world, they're going to be able to go back and look and hear, see their mother talk, see their mother make those biscuits, and watching them make it, they can smell it.
Yeah. I mean, when we have these conversations, Rebecca Rochester is one of our coalition members, and we talk about Main Street Market, and the stuff that you can get on the Main Street is that hometown feel, that hometown stuff. So we appreciate the Main Street vendors for displaying our signs for Juneteenth, and we're hoping that they continue to support from the 12th to the 24th. So look for the sign in the window. Go in there, ask them, hey, you're still supporting Juneteenth? I'm sure they might give you a little deal. I don't know. It's up to them. No commitment from us, but you never know. So check them out, and I'm just really excited about what's happening here for this Juneteenth. So.
Well, I'm glad you're not having a Dunkin' booth. I was in one Saturday at the Prodigal Home. They had a fundraiser there, and I'm not going to volunteer to be in that again. But it sounds like it's a great thing you're doing, and we really appreciate you doing this because you work very hard at this, because I see you everywhere trying to do things and to bring things to light, to educate, bring history, and to really make it, union, and all the negativity goes away, and nothing but positive, and that's what we need.
And you know what, we're on the map. So, and when I say we're on the map, I was recently blessed to be hired on with Wagoja Foundation as administrator, and Wagoja Foundation came up with the Green Book of South Carolina, and our historical buildings, because I was part of that project. Our historical buildings are in that Green Book. So the jail is in there, Union County Jail, Corinth Baptist Church, the Sims High School, when it's all black school. So, all of that is in that book. So we're excited. And, we want to help bring other things like this to Union County. And Wagoja Foundation is focused on the history and preservation of African American artifacts, both on the digital side, the medium, and on the physical side. So I'll be looking to do a survey at Juneteenth to see, hey, how can we get folks involved? What kind of stuff do you need? Like you mentioned, how do you even get a historical marker, installed? A lot of people don't even know how to get started. So we're going to help people, find the right people, connect the people together, and, talk about how a preservation toolkit can help everybody.
Well, Union really should be very excited. We've got these new businesses coming in here. We've got a new hospital that's going to be building.
Yes.
I just did the groundbreaking for that.
Yes.
And all these homes, like 400 homes, going to be coming in here.
Yeah.
So this is a time to really be excited about these events and stuff, and bringing people saying, hey, wow, that little small town doing that?
Yeah.
So, well, Tamika, I really appreciate you coming, and our time is up so fast.
It went so fast.
It did.
And I thank you.
And we're so happy that you came, and looking forward for all the other things that you're doing, and we really appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, and like the Juneteenth this Saturday, starting at 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Come out. It's not going to be that bad. I understand the weather's going to be beautiful. Come out and celebrate with us all. I'm Jerry McKee with Primetime, and we will see you next time when Freddie Vanderford's going to be on next Monday. And come out Saturday and listen to him play. Have a great evening and a good night.